Hey everyone, Sethaldor here on his Druid Taladorna to bring you the next set of class guides, which as you might imagine is Druid. So, let's just jump right into it. First of all, we're going to do Balance, which is going to be our range DPS spec for Druids, which will be doing magical damage. For choosing Balance, we will gain Star Surge, which is a 15-second cooldown nuke. Essentially, it does very high damage, and it also provides you with arcane or solar power depending on which you are heading towards to make you reach your eclipse state faster, which, as we all know, eclipse state will greatly increase your damage done with either nature or arcane spells depending on what kind of eclipse it is. So you will be casting this every time it's up because A, it does high damage, B, it gets you to your maximum damage potential faster. It's a nice spell, no doubt about it. Also, we get Moon Fury, which increases arcane and nature spell damage by 15%. Everything we do is arcane or nature. And it also increases the critical strike damage bonus of pretty much all our offensive attacks. Oh no, it does even do Star Surge by 100%. And at level 80 we gain the Mastery of Balance, which provides us with 12% more damage bonus during Eclipse, and that also increases by 1.5% for each point we gain in Mastery. Balanced Druids can take on the form of a powerful Moonkin, balancing the power of arcane and nature magic to destroy enemies at a distance. Let's start throwing in some points here. First we have Nature's Grace, which basically we gain haste after we cast Moonfire, Regrowth, or Insect Swarm in that last 15 seconds. It also has a 1-minute cooldown, which should be observed. When you gain one of your eclipses, however, the cooldown is instantly reset. So they really emphasize you getting your maximum DPS at the eclipse. Also, we have Starlight, which reduces the cast time of your next Starfire Wrath by 0.5 seconds. And finally, Nature's Majesty, which increases critical strike chance by 4% when fully maxed out. So, I would say take Nature's Grace because I'm a haste fan, and in that respect, Starlight Wrath would be excellent too for reducing cast time, but I'm going to take the 4% crit. And if you haven't noticed, a theme in my guide videos is we tend to backfill a lot of things. So, next row, Genesis. This increases periodic healing done, and also increases Swiftmen's healing, as well as the duration of Moonfire and Insect Swarm, which is nice. Less time you have to cast those, more GCDs you avoid, as well as more mana saved. Moonglow reduces mana cost of all spells, and Balance of Power, increases spell damage of nature and arcane, as well as Spirit now provides hit rating. So, I'm going to take Moonglow for mana conservation. Keep in mind this is a PvE spec, as well as 2 of 3 in Genesis. Again, backfilling is wonderful. Next row, Euphoria. While not in Eclipse state, you have a 12% chance to double the solar or lunar energy generated by your Wrath or Starfire when they deal damage. And when you reach an Eclipse, you instantly regenerate a chunk of mana. So basically, you'll reach your maximum potential faster by picking this up, and you'll get a re-energized effect when you get to your maximum potential, so it's not wasted. Nice talent, to be honest. And then Moonkin Form. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know what Moonkin Form does. It is absolutely fantastic and definitely needed for a balanced druid. Next, we also have Typhoon, which does a knockback as well as AoE damage, and dazing them. So, definitely interesting, possible pickup. Let's move on. Shooting Stars. This talent has a chance to reset the cooldown on your Star Surge, as well as make it an instant cast. Very nice, seeing as Star Surge will help you reach maximum potential. Not only that, but it will also do some massive damage, so the more you can cast that out, the better. Next row we have Owlkin Frenzy. This is when damaging attacks are done to you in Moonkin form, you can become immune to pushback as well as increase your damage. In my opinion, it's more of a PvP thing because it's when damaging attacks hit you, and if you have a tank, the only thing that should be hitting you is the occasional AoE. We also have a new ability, which is quite cool. Brings back my Pokemon nostalgia, Solar Beam. And it's got a 1-minute cooldown, and it's basically an AoE silence. It's very neat. But Silences are primarily PvP. They do have plenty of use in PvE, don't get me wrong, but if you can increase your DPS versus provide yourself with the utility with talent points, I would suggest you do so. Speaking of which, let's go back and fill Genesis and Starlight Wrath, as well as Balance of Power, one of two, for that damage increase. Next row, we have Dream State. When you cast Innervate on yourself, you regain more mana over its duration. So, increases the effectiveness of Innervate when used on yourself. Force of Nature spawns Treants to DPS for you, very awesome. Sunfire, when in Solar Eclipse, Moonfire spell will morph into Sunfire. What that basically does is it takes an arcane damage spell and turns it into a nature damage spell. That way it gets the bonus from your Solar Eclipse, which is really nice. The more things your Solar Eclipse gives bonus to, the better. So definitely take that. And Earth and Moon, when you Wrath or Starfire, the target takes more damage, essentially, as well as this increases overall spell damage. So you definitely want to pick that up. And that leaves 2 more points to get to the next row. I would say either pick up Dream State or 1 Balance of Power, 1 Dream State, which is what I'm going to do. Next row we have Fungal Growth when your Treants die or your Wild Mushrooms are triggered, which is one of your higher level abilities. And I would like to point out it says when Treants die, not time out. So they have to die from damage for this to happen. They'll spawn Fungal Growth beneath them, and it basically slows all enemies who walk through it. It's kind of a cool effect, but as far as slowing and Treants taking damage, that's really going to be from residual AoE, mainly found in BGs, I find. As well as the slowing from the shrooms would be excellent in, say, the Flag Room of Warsong Gulch, but I don't know how well it would work on a boss, considering most are immune to slows. Alright, next we have Lunar Shower, which when you cast Moonfire, you gain this Lunar Shower bonus, which increases the direct damage of Moonfire, reduces the mana cost, and when you move, it refreshes this. It also stacks up to 3 times. Encouraging Moonfire spam. Only time I Moonfire spam is when we're either being forced to move by raid boss mechanics or we're in PvP. So overall, a PvP talent, a very excellent talent, but a PvP one nonetheless, in my eyes. So go back, fill up Dream State, and that leaves us with 4 points to put somewhere. I'd pick up Typhoon just because I'm like that, which unlocks Gale Winds, which increases the damage done by Hurricane and Typhoon, as well as increases the range of Cyclone. Not a bad idea to pick up for AoE DPS, so there's a lot of customization at this stage in a balanced Druid spec. Feel free to do whatever you'd like to customize it to your own liking. I personally am going to pick up Lunar Shower because I find myself in moving raid situations a lot, especially with Cataclysm coming out. I find that being able to be mobile and still put out massive DPS is nice. I might also suggest picking up 2 of 2 Gale Winds and 1 of 1 Solar Beam if you're not fond of the idea of picking up Lunar Shower for a PvE spec. Finally, we get Starfall, which is a passive buff AoE DPS damage, basically, and it does a ridiculously large amount of damage for a passive AoE. Definitely pick it up, it's nice. And that leaves 5 unspent talent points. Right now, the best thing to do is spread them separately in Feral Combat and Restoration. As for when Cataclysm comes out and you get the next 5 points on top of these, I would suggest making sure you get to Master Shapeshifter in the second resto row, because that will increase your spell damage by a lot in Moonkin form. And even then you should have a few points left over for Feral Combat. The reason I say you want Summon Feral and Summon Resto is because of Fur, which grants chance to get Rage when you're Bear and Energy when you're Cat, but what you really want is that increases maximum mana by 15% for 3 points in here. That's nice. And then similarly in the Resto tree, you can look at Heart of the Wild, which increases Intellect by 6%, and then it gives you some Bear form and Cat form bonuses. Now, currently, with only these 5 points, I would go 3 in Heart of the Wild, because 6% Intellect will increase your spell power as well as mana pool, whereas in Feral Combat, Fur simply gives you 10% maximum mana. It does not impact your spell power at all. However, when you get your next 5 points, I would say put 2 in Natural Shapeshifter, 1 in Master Shapeshifter, which leaves you with 2 points left, 1 to fill Fur, and perhaps if you didn't pick up Solar Beam, you could grab that at level 85. This has been Sethaldor's Guide to Druid Balance PvE Specking. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure that you understand you have the full ability to customize and disagree with the spec. However, this is simply what I've found to work best for me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed it, leave a comment below, and thumb up or thumb down this video. You guys have been fantastic, and I can't wait to put another one out for you. See ya!